Hello my little geeks and freaks. Welcome back to my book bowl challenge where I will go through a massive bowl of books and hopefully not lose my sanity in the process. My cat's on crack. Are you okay? If you are new here, this is what I do. I have a giant bowl with titles and that I keep adding to every couple of months because I love to suffer. I really do. And I pull out titles. I pull out a bunch of titles all at once. It usually takes me a few months to get through all of them. And I read them and I give you an honest review on my thoughts. My thoughts may not be the same as yours. Most likely won't be the same as yours, and not everybody thinks the same way, but my thoughts also might align with yours. And either way, that's okay. I want to hear your differences in opinion. I want to hear what you think about my opinions. I want to hear it all. But I want to give you guys an honest review while also being vague, because if I give too much details, what's the point of reading the book? You know, I hope in the future I can do a book club, like a live stream book club. That is definitely a goal of mine to do in the future. And we can talk more in detail about books there. But as far as my videos, my goal here is just to tell you what the book is about, tell you what I think about it, and let you guys decide, do you want to join in this journey with me and read books with me? I think I'm going to start also letting you guys know what the next book I'm going to read is, so in case you do want to join me on reading it, I can read it, you can read it, and then when I come in and do my video, you guys kind of have an idea of what I'm reading, or you guys aren't sure and then you see the video and you can decide if you want to read it then. Before I continue, I am doing a follower challenge across all my platforms. So I do a reading challenge across my platforms too, where I spin the wheel and I see how much I'm going to read. But I'm also doing a follower challenge. So for every follower or subscriber I get across any of my platforms, I will read a page in your honor. A page doesn't seem like a lot, but when I'm doing the spin the wheel and all the followers, it does get, up there sometimes. And the more followers I get, the more I have to read. So if you guys want to see me suffer, hit the subscribe button and make me suffer. Make me work for it. But back to the book review. This book is technically not something I pulled from my book bowl. This book is a book that my family member had recommended to me, said she wanted to read it, asked if I wanted to read it with her, and I said yes, of course, because when do I ever turn down a chance to read something? So I got the book and we started reading it earlier in June and we finished it up. So the book is called Yesteryear and it's about to be adapted into a movie, so I'm curious to see what they do, what's different, what's the same, how does the adaptation differ in good ways and in bad ways. So I do want to see it because I'm really, I'm curious. It was very different from what I normally read. I don't only read smut, guys. I love my horror, I love my manga, I love, comics, mysteries, thrillers, psychological stuff. But this was different. And while there were definitely things that bothered me in this book, there were a lot of things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I am pleasantly surprised to say that I still enjoyed it. I think the things that rubbed me the wrong way worked for the book that it was. So there's that. So let's get into this book. I'll give you guys a brief description and you guys decide, do you want to read it? I think it's worth the read, to be honest, but let's see. In this book, we see our main character, Natalie. She goes through her life and we see different parts of her life growing up. We get some details about it. We see her in college. We see her throughout her marriage, as a parent, as a homeowner, as a social media influencer. We see it all. And it's interesting, to say the least. Natalie is a trad wife. Now, I don't know if you guys know, not everybody knows what a trad wife is. A trad wife, from what I understand, I could be wrong on it, but it's it's short for traditional wife. It's a wife who kind of takes on the old school roles of a wife, mother, homemaker, cook, clean, all that stuff. Her job is, raising the children and taking care of the home and being a good traditional wife. Leaving her husband to be, the breadwinner, the worker, the man in the house type of thing. There's a thing with trad wives doing things from scratch. They bake, they cook, everything's from scratch or from natural stuff or stuff they grow and stuff like that. It's very different. I'm not gonna judge it. I have no judgments about it. If you're a trad wife, you're a trad wife. That's your preference. But that's just what it is. Natalie is not just a trad wife, she's a trad influencer. So she is a social media hit. To the outside world, her life seems perfect. She seems perfect. But there are a lot of cracks and crumbling in her foundation. As I said, she outwardly appears to be this perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect homemaker, the perfect everything. But is she really? When the cameras shut off and the outside world is cut off from her view, what kind of person is she really? What does her husband think of her? Do her kids find her inspirational? Do they appreciate the way she is? And what is with all of those secrets? There are a lot of secrets. We start the beginning off in the present time, and you get a glimpse into the kind of person she is, how she views people, how she thinks, her issues with her husband, how she really feels about her husband. But you don't really get a lot of how everybody feels about her, and you don't really get a lot of everything that has led up to that point. And then she wakes up, and her house looks different. It's still her house, but it looks older. Her husband is still her husband, but he looks different. He's older, he's changed, he's harder. Her kids are no longer her kids. They're different kids that she doesn't know. She's confused. Why does everything look like they're in a different time period? Their clothes are very old school. They have no electricity, no plumbing. Everything is very different. It is no longer a modern home. It's almost as if she stepped through a time machine. So, obviously, Natalie's confused. What happened to her home? Where did she go? Where did she end up? How did she get there? And how does she escape? Is this some prank? Is it some reality TV show that she doesn't know that she's on? Is God punishing her for the things that she did? Is God trying to teach her a lesson? She has so many theories, and all she wants to do is find her way back home. But I think she's failing to realize that, like it or not, this is her home. It honestly took me a very long time, and it might be embarrassing how long it took to realize what exactly happened. I could be stupid. You guys might figure it out right away. I'm not, and maybe I don't try hard enough. I do get my theories, I do have thoughts, but I don't always try super hard or really think into why it's happening. I really want to read it and see how it plays out, but there are times where I really try to figure out what happened, and I kind of tried and then just settled on that's probably what it was, and it was no, it was not right. So if you figure it out before the bomb drops, don't come for me. No judgments here, okay? I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. But it does make the most sense when you think about it. The book goes back and forth between the life she had before and the life she is leading now, between her social media influencer time and her time machine, original trad wife kind of life. As the chapters go on, we do see everything slowly unravel. Things about her family, things about her employees, things about her everything, how she thinks, how she feels, how she views her children, how she views her husband, how she views people that she grew up with or people that she interacted with throughout her life. It's not outright obvious at first. It's little things that trickle in, and then it really, I didn't like her from the start, but the more things that happened, it was like it was very clear she wasn't a good person from the start. It was very clear that her kids, there was a little bit of tension, at least with one of her kids. It was very clear that there were issues, but you really don't get the full picture until it starts trickling out, and then it starts just like flooding your brain with everything that's happening. You know, she tried to hide the staff from the world, because how could she be the perfect trad wife, homemaker, mother, this, that, and the other, if she secretly has staff doing everything for her except the cooking? We see kind of how they view her as well as a person. Her marriage is a sham. Her in-laws are problematic. Her mother and sister are happy doing things that they never would have done before, which goes against everything Natalie believes in and makes her very unhappy and judgmental towards them, which leads to a strain in their relationship. In all honesty, Natalie is incapable of being a nice, genuine, truly religious, good Christian wife, woman, person-esque thing. Everything she believes that she is not. Like, she's just not. She is incapable of putting others before herself, and we do see her mental health deteriorate throughout the book. I didn't know how she could have ended up back in time, per se. I didn't really understand how it could have happened, but I went with it. I really did just go with it. I like the truth that we find out. I like to find, like, when I found out what it was that actually happened in the situation she was in, it was interesting and I didn't expect it, and it felt satisfying in a way. It wasn't completely satisfying, but it gets satisfying. Overall, I do like what it was that happened to her. I didn't like her as a person, and while the story itself was very sad, I had no pity for her. She didn't have this horrible upbringing. She wasn't neglected. She wasn't hurt by her family. She was just raised to be a good Christian woman, and she took it way too far and was the complete opposite, in my opinion. I think she's just a horrible human being. And her husband was a lazy bum and a piece of shit too. Just less so, because he at least had some concern and care for his kids. So, you know, I guess that makes him slightly better than her. I think she deserved what happened to her. I also think that the ending was bittersweet because her children were the ones to really pay the price for her actions, but at least they got the closure they needed and they got justice for the life that they were unfortunately living. It's crazy because even until the very end of the book, this woman really thought that she was better than everyone. She had this like higher than thou moral high ground that she really had no place getting on a pedestal over. She constantly put people down and had very concerning thoughts about her family members and people she interacted with. And again, I want to say I feel bad for her upbringing because, you know, she didn't have a father figure, but that's no excuse. Her sister turned out just fine. Her mom handled everything, but there's really no excuse for why she is the way she is, in my opinion. She had everything she could ever want, and she didn't really care. She saw everything as a burden in some ways. And I was a little disturbed that she took her religion too far. Religious fanatic is a lot. Religious fanatic who romanticizes God. It was very weird. It was very, very weird. That was one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about the book, just because it's like, ew. Like, ew. I'm sorry if you think that way. I'm not trying to insult you. It was very, like, the way it was written was a little uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to me. It's just, you know, I'm not trying to be rude. This is my view. She was clearly a sick individual, and I'm glad she got what she deserved. And while her husband Caleb is an idiot, lazy, lacks any ambition or desire to be a better person, I still kind of felt bad for him, at least a little bit. He was stuck with this woman. She treated him like a piece of furniture. She treated him like an idiot. She didn't even consult him on things. She just kept forcing him to do what she wanted. Anything he wanted to do, she put down or insulted. And he stayed with her because he had to. I mean, he didn't really have to, but he ended up staying with her. He felt obligated to after everything that happened, and she ruined his life. I probably wouldn't embroider this book on my sweater. I don't know. It's not something that I loved so much that I would embroider it. It was still a really good book. I still enjoyed it. I don't have any regrets reading it. It was I was able to get through it pretty quickly despite some of the disturbing aspects of the book, especially her view on children and God. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. She was a disturbed individual. But I still find myself thinking about the book. I was mind blown. I only wish I knew what happened to Caleb in the end. They don't actually really talk about that. And I wish I had more details of like how each child ended up and how they live now. There's a brief description of how they ended up, a brief like part where some of the kids are really talked about, but there's not really much or a lot. And I get it. It's not really necessary, but you know, I'm curious all the time. My favorite part of the book, I think, is towards the very, very end when Natalie is asked to read the dedication page from a book that her daughter wrote. I think it's truly powerful because we see how her kids prospered while she deteriorated. We see how her kids are better people than she will ever be. How despite everything that she did, they still love her and they forgive her and they were able to move on and enjoy life. And I felt that was really powerful. Overall, like I said, I really enjoyed this book. I'm glad I was recommended this, and I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad I read it. Let me know if you guys read this book, if you want to read this book, and let me know what you think. I liked it. Like I said, they are making a movie on this. I am eager to watch it. to see how they adapt the novel and if they stay true to it, if it was worth it, if it's better or worse than the book. Usually movies are never as good as the book, but you never know. Sometimes there's that chance where it is better. Very rare, but it can happen. And like I said, while there are definitely aspects of the book that annoyed me or angered me, I think I enjoyed the book more so because watching such a horrible person who pretended to be pious and worthy of whatever she wants and entitled have this massive downfall is really satisfying. And that desire to see the downfall kept me going. If I'm a bad person, I'm sorry. Think of me what you will. I know I'm crazy. It was satisfying. I would say I do recommend this book. You may not be interested in it. You might be interested in it. Again, let me know. If you're interested in mysteries, trad wives, antagonists, getting a little dose of reality, and kind of a historical fiction, I think you would enjoy reading this book. If you want to see somebody get what they deserve, I think you would also enjoy this book. Anyway, that is it for my review. Let me know what you think about this book. Comment your thoughts below if you plan to watch it, if you plan to read it, if you have read it. Like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to show your support, and hit that notification bell to be informed every time I post a new video. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.